I'll call the meeting of the April Agenda Committee to order, and please register your presence by voting yes. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
I have 21 present.
One person's abstaining from being here, so we'll count her as present. All right, we do have a quorum. We have all 21 members present. Chair is going to entertain a motion to set the agenda, but before I do, unless there's objection, we will remove item F1 based on the letter which everyone received from our council. Without objection? You object. All right. We will stand for a motion on setting the agenda. Motion, Mr. French. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Carver. Now, is there discussion? Yes, sir. Let me get your mic on here, please. You find the mouse. Yes, sir, Commissioner.
I would like to add also to the consent calendar of the April meeting the commission minutes of March 19, 2015, and the minutes of the 3 public hearings which were just held.
Okay, did everyone hear that? We're adding the minutes from March 19th to the consent calendar and the 3 public hearings held this evening to the consent calendar. Commissioner Caskey?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to remove G4 under new business.
Mr. Caskey would like to pull G4 without objections. That item is removed. Now, anyone else before we vote? Motion on the floor is to set the agenda. If you're in favor, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Stinnett?
I have 21 yes, 0 no.
The agenda is set. Now we're at public input on items on the agenda. Was there any item on the agenda that anyone would like to speak to? Yes, sir. Come forward, please.
Harry Grothjohn, District 9, and 2 items. The stormwater regulation resolution 15-04-007. You all who have been here sometime know that 5 years ago the struggle that we went through to try and defend the property owners' rights and the resulting conclusion where Mayor Cunningham went to Nashville and brought back a compromise which he admitted in that compromise that it did not require that we pay a penalty, but in order to keep peace, that we would become a part of the MS4 region out of the Knoxville that bordered Blount County's waters. And subsequent to that, you know, we now are facing another 5 years and are back at trying to do the bidding of a piece of legislation that is 25, 30 years old, and every 5 years we have to do something else with it. So I think that, you know, in the interest of preserving property owners' rights and recognizing the problem comes from Washington, not from Blount County, and it comes from Nashville and not from Blount County, that what we're trying to do is create the sovereigns in their rightly position to protect their 9th Amendment rights of the Constitution and have Congress do what they're supposed to do. So I would heartily encourage that you would endorse this resolution directing Senator Corker and Alexander to repeal the Environmental Protection Agency stormwater regulations and restore the rights back to the people. Thank you, sir. Now, with regards to item F1, in item F1, the jail study consultant, I spoke to you in January why it was so important for you to act on behalf of the citizens of Blount County to appoint people in the jail commission who would represent the jail inmates properly and avoid the unconstitutional conditions that potentially could exist there, as pointed out on page 52 of the jail study, which said that in fact the sheriff can be held liable, and since the sheriff is insured by the county can be held liable if we are in fact allowing deliberate indifference to remain the policy in our jail. Well, we have 500 inmates, and if 100 of them choose to sue Blount County because of those conditions, then we're out $350,000 times 100. I demand that you all act in the interest of the taxpayers of Blount County and protect our sovereign financial ability to run our county and not have to jeopardize our financial security in the future. Act on this jail committee report, expedite it, and act as quickly as you can reasonably do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come forward, please.
Thank you for letting me speak. This is a very, I'm Sam Duck from 3rd District. This is very impromptu. I don't have anything prepared, and I didn't get one of the little papers, but it's on the jail review and jail audit. And I have been kind of paying attention to this issue for a while. I quickly ran by my house and hit print on the mailer that I'd actually put a stamp on last county election. Now, I have this little blurb on here that says, "Avoid the dangers ahead," and one of them says, "The sheriff wants to expand the jail. An independent auditor hired by the sheriff reported jail expansion would cost $68 million to $124 million. I do not support housing federal prisoners in Blount County." Now, that was, when was that? About August, I think, that this went out, somewhere around in there. So we've been kind of dancing around this for a while. And then I get in my email this document that I believe came from Mr. Garrett's office. The document did, not the email. That was saying that they're recommending against the county commission reviewing this report. And I find it interesting that there is somebody that doesn't want our 21 county commissioners to see a report and has been attempting to...
online for the entire public of Blount County. And especially, I'm sure that all 21 commissioners have read it. Sorry for the interruption, Mr. Duck.
Fair enough. But nonetheless, I just find it interesting that it's recommended against, I don't know, meeting with the guy or whatever, because we've been trying to get this done clearly since August. I put a stamp on something last year making reference to this. And so I think this certainly ought to be forwarded on to the full county commission and get this thing heard. I mean, I've seen comments like, well, they want to get $95,000 back from the guy because he didn't make any recommendations, but the index of recommendations is 3 pages. And I've seen that we don't have tax and spend policies in Blount County, but this guy's offering us an alternative to expanding the jail. So, I almost have half a mind to pick up the phone and call him and say, maybe our mayor ought to pony up the $95,000 instead of the guy, because he's the one that's not following the recommendations that are in the report, not the auditor. So, y'all have a good day.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, come forward, please, sir. Give us your name and where you live, please.
Okay, I'm Keith Miller, District 4, and I want to address item F1 under the heading Unfinished Business. And before I begin, because of what's been pointed out here, I'd like to say that specifically what I'm referring to when I talk about the suppression of information relating to the study is the suppression of a teleconference. So let me begin my remarks. This item, F1, addresses a blatant display of political conniving and scheming. It is the most blatant that I believe I have witnessed since the county's water company conducted a phony baloney survey of Blount County water customers who did or did not prefer rat poison in their water. Now, that's another point for another time. At issue is the suppression of the $95,000 jail study, or if you please, a teleconference. Apparently, the ruse that the jail study or jail study committee was short one attendee and the meeting must be canceled did not work. Now there is some hogwash about a concocted lawsuit preventing a teleconference on this matter from taking place. The more energy that is engaged against this study, the more interested I am in seeing the results presented and debated. One of the primary functions of the commission is to serve as a check against this kind of political maneuvering. I urge you to send F1 forward to the full commission. Now, the other commission item I wanted to address is G10, that has to do with the EPA. G10. The EPA and those who advocate taxing rain, the stormwater taxers, have gotten far too big for their britches and need to be taken to heel. I urge you to vote for G10. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come forward, please. Please give us your name and where you reside.
I'm Malcolm Johnson, Big Meadow Campground in Townsend. Am I premature in wanting to address G5 and 6? Okay. I didn't want to jump out of line because I'm not familiar with the proceedings
No,
here.
go ahead, sir.
I'm confused.
Would you please start the clock over, please? Thank you. Go ahead. We'll give you your full time.
I'm confused with the new regulations. We have an existing campground, and I'm proud of it. Out of 13,000 rated campgrounds in the United States, we're in the top 300. We have a letter of commendation from the governor of Tennessee commending us for an excellent family-owned and operated business, high morals, high standards. I don't understand why you want to limit the amount of time that my guests can stay. I don't understand why you want to restrict how I operate my business. I think items 5 and 6 need some more hashing, and I think that you owe the campground industry some input, some initiation. I have not been contacted whatsoever by anyone in the commission. I was almost ignorant in the fact that these resolutions came up. I understand that every business needs some regulation, but I think we've gone a little too far in the minute details. I have a storage business, and under the new regulations, I have 175 units in storage. Under the new regulations, I could only have 7. That cuts my annual income by 90%. I pay a lot of taxes to the county, pay a lot of federal taxes. I think you need to give us some more consideration before these are actually passed and the regulations stand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda committee minutes from March 3. Chair will stand for a motion to approve. Commissioner Carver, is there a second? Where was it? Commissioner Carter? Now, are there additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'm sorry, it was Carter and Crow.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carter and Crow. Thank you. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, if you are in favor of approval of the minutes, vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Please vote.
I have 21 yes, 0 no.
That item is approved. Next item on the agenda is the items for the consent calendar, including the addition of the March 19th minutes and the minutes from the 3 public hearings that were held earlier this evening. Chair will entertain a motion to move the consent calendar to the full agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Moon, second. Commissioner Carver. The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving the consent calendar, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Yes. Yeah, I was going to do that next, but yeah, we need to nominate. Okay, we can do that now and hold the vote. Okay, we do have in there the let's see, the appointments. Yeah, the ad hoc committee, and also I guess that's it, isn't it? The rest of them are all single. So there are positions for 3 commissioners and 4 citizens. Why don't we do the commissioners separate from the 4 citizens? So the chair will stand for a nominee for commissioner. 3 positions available. Are there nominees for commission to sit on the ad hoc committee?
Nominate Mr. Caskey.
Commissioner Caskey has been nominated, second by Commissioner Moon, nomination by Commissioner Farmer. So Commissioner Caskey, will you accept if elected, Mr. Caskey? Okay. We need 2 more. Well, there are no nominees. Any volunteers? Yes. Commissioner Bowers, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Kaler. Mr. Bowers, will you serve? Yes, I will. All right, and let me get Commissioner Stinnett. Go ahead.
Commissioner Monroe.
Is there a second to Commissioner Monroe? Where was it? Commissioner Carter. Ms. Monroe, will you serve? Are there any other nominations for commissioner to sit on this committee?
Move nomination cease.
Motion nomination cease. Is there a second? Second. If you're in favor of nomination cease, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The nominations have ceased for commissioner. Now we will take nominations for 4 citizens, 4 positions as citizens. And in your packet, there are 5 resumes in the packet for tonight. Commissioner Monroe, do you wish to make a nomination?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I nominate Brad Ainsley to serve.
Brad Ainsley. Second by Commissioner Moon. Is Mr. Ainsley here? I would ask if he would serve, but I'm assuming since you nominated him and he sent a resume that he'd serve. Okay. Now, is there another nomination for citizen? Yes, sir.
The Keep Blount Beautiful.
And what was the last name?
Deshay.
Deshay, yeah. I remember that nomination. Okay, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Bowers. Now, another nomination. We need 4 citizens.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Dennis Silverberg.
Mr. Silverberg. Second by Commissioner Farmer. Another nomination? I'm sorry, Mr. French, I wasn't looking at the...
Judy Claybo.
And is there a second to Judy Claybo? I don't know where it came 2 or 3 places. Commissioner Carter. Okay. Now, is there another nomination? Yes, sir. Charles Ware is...
Order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Only one nomination for member.
That is correct. I'm sorry, Mr. Caskey. One nomination per commissioner. Is there another nomination? I'm going to declare the nominations closed. Nominations are now closed. Since we have 4 nominees for citizen position and 3 nominees for commissioner position, I'm going to do this by voice vote. If you are in favor of those 7, yes, sir.
Requires roll call vote on elections.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
We can vote the whole slate.
Yeah.
Electronic vote.
Are you set up for electronic vote on this? Or do you want to call the roll? She's got the roll here. What do you want to do? Okay, we're just going to call the roll, and if you vote yes, you're voting for all. Is he ready? Okay, we're ready. Vote yes will be a vote for the entire 7. Vote no will be against the entire 7.
That's to move it forward.
To move it forward as nominees. Everybody understand this is moving it forward as nominees. If you're in favor, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
We have 19 yes and 2 abstain.
And the nominees move forward. And the other nominees are only single nominees, so that will go with the motion. We do have the motion on the floor to move the consent calendar forward. If you're in favor of that, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
We have 21 yes, 0 no.
That item is moved forward. Next item on the agenda is item F1, request for a special call meeting of Blount County Commission to hold a teleconference with jail study consultant. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Commissioner Monroe, is there a second? Well, I don't believe it was Mr. Aker. Okay. Commissioner Archer. Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very unfortunate situation. Leadership is usually not, leadership is defined not by what you do when there's no controversy or it's not a tough decision. Leadership is defined by what you do in the face of problems and controversy. We have an overcrowded jail. All we're doing here is to ask for a hearing for a study we paid for a year ago. I don't understand why this has become such a contentious issue. It's really frustrating. We may be deemed unconstitutional. Instead of being worried about suing, we should be worried about being sued for the conditions of our jail. This is not a fun issue. This is a very unfortunate issue, but we need to rise to the occasion and be leaders and have a hearing and start discussing things. I think that there are some sincere people on this commission that want to do just that. I think it's time that we stop pointing fingers. I, for one, am ready to get to work. I look forward to the opportunity to work with our community leaders. We brought forth a resolution not too long ago to put 2 judges on this committee. We've paid for a jail study. We've got a serious problem. We need to bite the bullet and move forward. These problems happen. It's not anybody's fault up here. It's not any one person's fault. It's a system, and we've got to work within the system to resolve this. So I move that we have a hearing, the full commission, that was the recommendation by this body, by the Blount County Corrections Partnership, for the full commission to have a hearing from the jail consultant. So I move that that be scheduled for the May commission meeting unless the chairman, Mr. Moon, finds that the jail consultant cannot do that meeting, and then he should call a special called meeting.
Commissioner, the motion on the floor is to request a special call meeting of the Blount County Commission. That is the motion that's on the floor.
Okay, all right, that will be fine then. Okay, so I just want to encourage this body, instead of suing, let's stop finger pointing, let's rise to the occasion, let's address the problems, let's have a hearing, and let's move forward. Let's work together. The people elected us to do this. Let's do it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. The board is clear. Commissioner Akers.
Thank you,
Got it
Mr.
right. I got the name.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am in receipt of this letter today and have heard from some constituents as well as the folks that got up here at the microphone today at this meeting. And I definitely don't want to expose our county to any additional liability in any circumstance, but I also believe that our $95,000 that we've spent, we deserve an opportunity to hear what the party that wrote it had to say, and I very much would like to hear what they have to say. We're constantly being asked for things, for money that we're supposed to approve and think about, and we have spent a great deal of money to get a report to tell us about that, and I would hope that we would stand up and listen to what the person says and push this through. Thank you.
Commissioner Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. May I ask a question? The previous speaker, have they read the jail report?
Commissioner Akers, do you wish to respond?
I'm sorry?
Commissioner Moon requested a question of the previous speaker, and I believe that's you. Would you repeat your question?
Mr. Chairman, I asked if the previous speaker had read the entire jail report.
I have not read the entire report.
Okay. Commissioner French.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Only one question. At a hearing, I'm just curious, are we allowed to hear, are we just going to hear one side or both sides of the issue?
I can't answer that. Let's see, Commissioner Hedrick, do you wish to respond to that? You're the chairman. Let me get your mic on here. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. It's my understanding we'll hear both sides.
Okay. Commissioner Farmer.
I'm just sort of curious. We have an attorney, and we have correspondence from an attorney, and we're paying him. And I'm going to go along with the attorney.
Okay, the board is clear. Anyone else wish to make a comment? I'm sorry, sir, not at this time. Board is clear. Now, if you are in favor of item F1, the request for a special call meeting of the County Commission and the Jail Study Consultant, a teleconference, vote yes. This moves it to the full agenda. And if you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Let's see, okay. Okay,
You have 8 yes and 12 no, and 1 abstain.
that item fails to move to the full agenda. Next item, pardon me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was said. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're out of order, please. The commission is in order. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're out of order. Ma'am, please, we're trying to conduct a meeting. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is new business. I see there are 0 budget transfers. There are 4 increases. Mr. Vineyard, let me get your mic on if you'd like to. Well, the chair will stand for a motion to move them to the agenda, and then we'll discuss them. Is there a motion?
Move item G2A for commission, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Commissioner Moon, Commissioner Farmer. Mr. Vineyard, you wish to discuss them?
Mr. Chairman, as motion maker, I can add some.
You wish to ask? Go ahead.
This item came from the schools. It's for a food serving line at Lanier. There's a grant to cover $20,000. There were bids taken. The amount was $27,000. So basically looking at $7,000 of local money, $20,000 from the federal grant.
Okay, the board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this to the full agenda, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Aker? Oh, okay.
You have 21 yes, 0 no.
That item moves to the full agenda. There are 8 other budget items. Under other budget items, Chair will...
Mr. Chairman, we need G2B, C, and D.
Here they are, right here.
Wait a minute.
There's 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd moved them all. Let me get to them here. Okay, the Chair will entertain a motion on General Fund, Circuit Court Clerk, Health Department, and the Animal Center. Is there a motion?
Move to item G2B.
Okay. Item G2B, is there a second? Commissioner Lewis, now is there discussion? If you are in favor of, I'm sorry, Commissioner Monroe, go ahead.
Is the health department coming solely from the state, the money?
Point of order, we're always discussing G2B, Circuit Court Clerk.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you said all.
That
See,
was
I
my
couldn't hear-
mistake.
I
That's
couldn't
what
hear you. Okay, you said, okay.
I said I thought it was too, but it wasn't. Okay, board is clear. If you're in favor of G2B, please vote yes to move it forward. If you're opposed, vote no. I'm trying to find that better. Oh, here it is.
You have 21 yes, 0 no.
That item moves forward. The Chair will entertain a motion on General Fund Health Department, $26,206.
Move item G2C forward, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Moon, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Lewis, was that Commissioner Lewis? Okay. Oh, Commissioner Hedrick, I'm sorry. Now, is there discussion? This is the Health Department. Commissioner Monroe.
Is this solely state money?
Mr. Vineyard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Board is clear. If you're in favor, vote yes, moving this to the full agenda. If you're opposed, vote no.
Yes, 0 no.
That item moves to the full agenda. Last item, Fund 101, Animal Center, $1,500. Is there a motion? Commissioner Melton, is there a second? Commissioner Aker. The board is clear. If you're in favor, vote yes to move it to the full agenda. If you're opposed, vote no. Mine's not on. There we go. Need to confirm, Commissioner Monroe? That item, I'm sorry, go ahead.
21 yes, 0 no.
That item moves to the full agenda. Now we are on item, other budget items, 8 other budget items.
Mr. Chairman, I move that G3A, which includes all the grants listed, be forwarded to full commission.
Okay, this is all the grants which are, they're fully funded, but that's not for me to say. Is there a second? Second. Okay. And a second by Commissioner French. Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anyone here that can discuss what a seatbelt demo program, nighttime seatbelt demo program is?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Is there anyone present who can discuss what a nighttime seatbelt demo program is?
I certainly can't.
Is this federal funding?
Mr. Vineyard, would you like to answer that, please? I got it. Go ahead.
To my knowledge, all of these come from the state. There may be some federal pass through the state, but there are no matches required on any of these. And what was explained to us yesterday, excuse me, is the state made us aware that the grant that you referenced was available to us. Initially, we didn't have plans to apply for it because we didn't think it was available, but the state contacted us and said it was available.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Can we find out if that comes from the feds to the state?
Sure.
Thank you. Well, all of them would be nice. And on the first grant, the alcohol saturation roadside sobriety checkpoints, I personally deem that as unconstitutional. I know courts have let them get away with these things for years, but I don't want to live in a papers, please society, so I'm going to be voting against that. Thank you.
Anyone else? The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving item C, the 8 other budget items to the full agenda, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Yeah, okay. That motion was on just the grants, wasn't it? Okay. All right. So we'll move to, oh wait, let me get to Mr. Carver. Now there we go.
We have 20 yes and 1 no.
That item moves to full agenda. The next item is the debt service fund update. That's for information only. The penny calibration memo is information only. The state comptroller budget memo is information only. We can go ahead and send that to the full agenda, but it's information only, unless there's objection. All right, let's move on. Next item is the resolution. Let's see, we pull that out. That next item has been pulled from the agenda. Next item is item F5, resolution to amend zoning resolution of Blount County, Tennessee, section 7.18, regulated campgrounds or RV parks by clarifying or specifying mandatory compliance with noise laws, application of non-conforming provisions of the state statutes, and zoning regulations and limits of stay in a campground or RV park. Sponsored by Commissioner Bowers. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Where was that? Who made the motion? Was that Caskey? Commissioner Caskey, is there a second? Commissioner Stinnett. Commissioner Monroe, you wish the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have the full regulations in front of me. Under Section 4, where it puts a time limit of 60 days in a 365-year period, would this prohibit someone whose home has burned down and then someone that owns a campground willingly allows a person to live in a tent on there? Would they be prohibited?
Is there someone who wishes to answer that? One of the motion makers or the sponsor, Commissioner Bowers?
I would ask Mr. Lamb to come and address the question.
Mr. Lamb, would you come to the podium, please? I'm sorry, sir, you can't, this, you'd be out of order right now.
Can we cut 4 out?
Commissioner
don't know
Lamb,
that you
did you understand the question?
I don't know that you can set a class of a person coming into a campground and say they have a house burnt down and they're going to live in a tent. They are a resident in the campground for a certain number of days, and I think that would apply. Now, they could move to another campground or whatever, but, you know, I think it would apply to all classes that would come into that campground.
Could we strip section 4 out of this and vote for the rest of it?
I think if you amend it, you have to send it back.
Okay, thank you.
Any other, hold on just a minute, Mr. Lamb, please. Commissioner Moon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could Mr. Lamb give us some guidance on grandfathering and what would be grandfathered and what would not?
I can't specify all classes of grandfathering, but there's a general provision in state statutes that exempts existing bona fide grandfathered situations from regulations being applied. There are also provisions in our regulations that do that, and that's what the specification is in the proposed regulations.
Commissioner Carter?
I guess my question would be, just for the gentleman that's sitting here, would he be grandfathered in on this?
I don't know his specific situation, so I'd be, you know, I really couldn't, unless I knew his specific situation, I could not address that.
Commissioner Moon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No question.
Okay, Commissioner Kaler?
I know there's been a tremendous amount of work that's gone on from the Planning Commission and Mr. Lamb in regards to this, but I concur with my fellow commissioner. I would like to know, the gentleman that spoke earlier has some legitimate, very legitimate concerns, and I would be curious to know before I can make a decision.
If he would like to, if you would like for him to come up and testify as to what his specific situation is and his concern, I might be able to address it, but a general question like that, without knowing the specifics, you're putting me on the spot for
I don't want to
conjecture.
I don't want to put you on the spot, and I don't want him to have to get up and testify. I'm just saying that I feel like there needs to be a little bit more information in regard to what is grandfathered and what is not grandfathered. I don't expect you to be able to pull that out of a hat.
Well, what's grandfathered is any existing business that is in existence before the adoption of zoning or a change of zoning that does not meet the regulations is grandfathered in its present situation and can expand in its present situation. That's in a nutshell. So pre-existing campgrounds, yes, if they don't meet the regulations specifically, they're grandfathered.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Allen?
Mr. Lamb, if I would, I'd like to ask you to refresh our memories as to what all these campground resolutions apply to. They only apply to select campgrounds. If you could refresh our memory on which campgrounds those are, the locations of those campgrounds.
Well, it'd be new ones, and it would be on the arterial roads and, well, the roads specified in the regulations. And you're asking me to do this from memory, which is about as hard as trying to remember Planning Commission members' names. So basically, it's Calderwood Highway. I think there's a portion of old Tuckaleechee Pike down in Townsend area. The Where's Valley Road, 321. It's in the rural areas, by the way. It's the major arterials and some of the collector status roads where traditionally there have been campgrounds, and particularly in the Townsend area because that is the concentration of tourist area.
Commissioner Moon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move we postpone this matter to the May agenda meeting until we sort out this grandfathering. We make sure that this business is not impacted.
We have a motion to postpone. Is there? All over. Motion on the floor is to postpone. Are we set up to do that on the board? Okay. If you are.
I'll expand that to G5, 6, and 7 if my second will go along.
I don't even know where all the seconds were, but is that okay with everybody? Okay. All right. Motion is to postpone 5, 6, and 7 to the May meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Your motion? and we are set up on the board. So if you are in favor of postponing items 5, 6, and 7 to the May meeting, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
Item 21 yes, 0 no.
Item is postponed till May. Item number 8, we need to set public hearing for a property located at 110 and 112 North Springview Road from R1 to RAC, identified on the tax map as 089 parcel 109. And that hearing needs to be set for May 12th at 6 p.m. Commissioner Moon.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to set.
All right. Commissioner Moon, is there a second? That moves to the agenda for May 12th at 6 p.m. for that public hearing. If you are in favor of moving that, the board is clear. Vote yes. If you are opposed, vote. If you are opposed, vote no when the board gets ready here. Okay, now vote yes if you're in favor, vote no if you're opposed.
Yes, 0 no.
That public hearing moves on to the full commission. Item number 9, a resolution by the Blount County Commission pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated section 54-10-216 to close and vacate section of the roadbed and right-of-way of Hobart Hayes Road, a county-maintained road in Blount County. Commissioner Caskey sponsors. Is there a motion to move it forward? Commissioner Caskey, is there a second? Where was that? Commissioner Hedrick. Now, is there discussion? The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving that to the full commission, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
Yes, 0 no.
That item moves forward. Next item on the agenda, resolution asking federal legislators to stop the expansion of EPA regulations over water and to repeal stormwater regulations by Commissioner Monroe, the sponsor. Is there a motion? Commissioner Monroe, is there a second? Commissioner Akerd. Now, is there discussion? Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Every couple of years, we're faced with dealing with this. I addressed it when I used to be a citizen. I was frustrated by it. I'm still frustrated by it. As a commissioner, I don't want to put these kind of regulations in place, but I also don't want to see the county fined. So I think we need to express that to the people who've mandated it and encourage them to restore our rights and powers under the 9th and 10th Amendments as the framers and ratifiers intended. And there's a typo on here that I would like to ask unanimous consent to fix. Now, therefore, be it resolved, that first paragraph, it should state United States Senate, and it says state. So I would like to ask unanimous consent to add an S to that.
I would ask for unanimous consent, and I apologize to you. I had that on my notes. I was looking at the wrong page. There are 2 corrections needed in this resolution that are simply typographical errors. The word state needs an S in the next to the last word on the last line in the 3rd paragraph. The word to, T-O, has been omitted from the 2nd line in the 4th paragraph before the word repeal. Without objection, we'll make those typo changes. You wish to continue, Commissioner? Okay. The board is clear. Is there anyone else? If you are in favor of moving, I'm sorry, Commissioner Daly, go ahead.
I just want to repeat that this is we're asking our elected officials to do what we elected them for, our leaders, and it's time that somebody stand up and protect Tennessee's rights.
Commissioner Crow.
I would like to know what the chairman thinks if there would be any repercussions for us sending such. Is it going to hurt Blount County and make Blount County? I mean, I'm all about saying, hey, we don't like these mandates. But I also know when you give direction so solidly to people in places like that, sometimes it actually hurts you instead of helping you. So I'm okay with saying, hey, we would like to not have these unfunded mandates, and we go by the Constitution here in Blount County, but at the same time, to strongly suggest to these representatives, I'm afraid that it might cause negative reaction. So I would just like the chairman's opinion on that.
You talking about this chairman or the other chairman?
Okay.
Or the chairman of the beer board. I mean, maybe he's the one that'll answer. Personal opinion is we can make our feelings known, and whether they go by it or not, it's up to them. Yeah, I understand that. I'm not supposed to have an opinion, to be honest with you. But Commissioner French certainly can. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My mom and daddy told me a long time ago it doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay. The board is clear. Anyone else? Commissioner Farmer?
And my mom and daddy told me too, when you get on there and you accuse somebody of violating the Constitution, you better have something to back it up with.
Okay, the board is clear. Anyone? Commissioner Miller?
Our founding fathers didn't plan on us having a federal government to control us, and it's up for we, the people, to stand up. We are not ruled by the federal government.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner Boone?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment. While we're at it, let's repeal the federal income tax also in this. I'm sorry, that's not germane. I withdraw.
Okay. The board is clear. If you are in favor of this going to the full agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
We have 13 yes, 6 no, and 2 abstain.
This item moves to the full agenda. Now, as far as announcements and statements, Commissioner Aker, do you wish the floor under announcements?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I tried to get my light on while we were discussing G5 and 6 concerning the campground, G5, 6, and 7 concerning the campground zoning resolutions that we postponed. You guys already passed that. All we're talking about here is amending the wording to match what we discussed as a commission that night that we would like to see. Whatever is grandfathered is already that already exists. We're just fighting over what we asked for, and they delivered it to us, and now we postponed it again.
Commissioner Boone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad we have a member who's going to indemnify you against any losses you have in the future if you're not adequately grandfathered. That's amazing. And so, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Under announcements, the commission meeting will be April 16th in this room at 7 p.m. That's the only announcement that I have here. Now, is there anyone who wishes to speak to an item that is not on the agenda? Yes, come forward, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On more than one occasion in my 20 years of attending these occasions, I have seen the office of county attorney used to intimidate action in the interest of the people of Blount County. So let me assure you that until you, the commission, pass a resolution stating that we, the people, can vote for a county attorney, that no position exists. That the alleged position that was referred to this evening is the mayor of Blount County's attorney. He has no authority over we, the taxpayers, or you, our representatives. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, come forward, please. Come on, please. Give us your name and where you reside, please.
Jan Lowe in District 2. And I'm here tonight concerning, I read in the paper about the, can you hear me?
Yes, just speak a little louder.
Okay. It's about the rural metro. I would like to keep it here because it's been very well for us. We have a lot of sick people in my family, and we've had to use it a lot. And it's if someone has a problem with not being able to pay, they have got a program that is just $69 a year that you can use it all year long. So rural metro has been very good for Blount County and for my family and people that I know. So this is all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, this meeting is adjourned.